Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 135. I don't know, how many episodes do I even have? It is Sunday, May 22nd, 2016, and I'm glad you could join me today while I try to look up how many episodes I actually have. Alright. It is 1:35 today. Woohoo! So, wow, I opened up many instances of Explorer. Alright, we'll smite those. Okay, we're cool. I'm recording much earlier than normal. It's 9:30 in the morning. I got stuff to do today, so I better take care of it. It may mean that I need to shift my recording schedule actually to Saturdays. We'll see how things go and what way I end up deciding to do it. But, we'll figure something out. I was working pretty furiously last night on finishing up a row, but this is how much yarn I have left on my hand-spun crescent citron shawl. So not too much left. My scale is MIA at the moment, so I haven't been able to get a good read there. But this is pretty much what I've been working on exclusively the last 2 weeks, since I last recorded. So, it is quite large. And as you can see by the marker here, I've actually come a pretty long way. So when I left you last, I believe I had ripped out because I needed to do 11 segments instead of 10 segments. And so in the meantime, I now have 17 rows of 1x1 rib for the ruffle. And I wish I had phyllo vision because this yarn just feels so amazing as the 1x1 ribbing. It's like so squishy. So that is coming along. It's probably going to be about 20 rows for the ribbing, I'm thinking. This yellow seems to be lasting many more rows than I think the green did, or maybe it just all fades together. But now it's to the point where there are only like 2 or 3 rows for each color. I'm no longer increasing. I have, at this point, I'm pretty sure I have 1,400 stitches on the needles, so these are really, really long rows. And I just ended up cruising on it. Flying to California, flying back from California, my purse knitting during the week. I ended up going to, on Monday I had like a orientation meeting, and it was the most boring meeting I've ever been. I was so glad that I had brought this because it was just, it was terrible in the magnitude of the boring. So I'm really glad that I had this with me to keep me awake because it was bad. It was real bad. So it's coming along. So definitely going to be a good size shawl when it's done, and so it'd be the case where at this point it was my wingspan in terms of length, so every bit of length that I add to this is just going to be making it extra nice, so that's good. Definitely dislike the fact that the rows are so long, but such is life. So if I can figure out where my yarn scale is, then I can get a better idea of how many more rows this is going to get me. But I'd say it's going to give me at least 3 more rows. So I probably have about 1 more row of the yellow, 2 of the green, and maybe 3 of the blue if you include the bind off. So nothing too crazy. Let's see. I did not work on Hitafude in the last 2 weeks. I did carry it around with me. But I sort of wanted to get something closer to completion, so I want to get something close to completion, so stash. starts next week. And I'm definitely not going to be finishing the shawl before then. And honestly, spinning is probably a better stash preparation thing, but well. So the silk ended up getting no love the past 2 weeks. All of my free time ended up being knitting time for the most part. But I did get further along on the merino silk, so this is my first ply, and I have made it to the teal section, and then I probably have another 1.5 foot of the darker teal before I get into the more green colors. But it is turning out lovely, so let's see if we can get the computer to look at this one. But that was the case where it finally transitioned to a teal here, and I've gotten all my pink covered up now. And I'm just working back. Hopefully I can get the full 4 ounces on the bobbin, and mostly that involves being pretty careful about when I'm changing the hook, because I would like, so the plan is I have another braid of this fiber. That's a part of, let's say, my March entry for Spin the Bin. And it's May now. Oh, silliness. So, I do need to get rolling on this whole Spin the Bin thing, and hopefully maybe put out some good spins or something, I'm not sure. It could end up being the summer of spinning. It certainly right now is the spring of knitting with hand spun, so can't complain about that. So I did get some good progress on it. I'll just have to keep moving forward. Whatever. Let's see. The last thing I wanted to talk about was a D-stash came by that was making me pretty excited. So that arrived this week in pillow form. This was something that I found on the nest boards. So I ended up picking up some old club colorways. So this guy right here is a combination of blues and greens called Torfino, and it was the March 2015 colorway, so this was after I had bowed out of the club. So I've seen all these beautiful pictures of finished skeins, and it is a Polworth silk blend. Not sure on the ratio, but quite gorgeous. And the person I bought it from had braided them up, so that was really lovely. And the other thing I ended up getting was 2 bumps of Vorfruit. So this is a superwash merino silk blend, and it is browns and blues and greens and reds for maroons. So it'd be the case where there are all sorts of gorgeousness here, pretty variegated. Since I'm actually recording in the morning, this is the sunny part for the deck, so hopefully that isn't washing things out too much. But really gorgeous fiber. She must have done like a double dose or something like that. And so the plan would be with 12 ounces of fiber, because I still have my Vorfruit, and it is actually a part of my bin. I would say, in terms of saturation and colors, they're all well matched. They were a part of basically the same dye lot. So the thought process would be to actually do like a sweater spin with all of this. And find some way to, appropriately combine all the colors together. So Yeah, 12 ounces should be enough for a pretty good size sweater. What is it? Especially if I, spinning on the lighter end and getting good yardage out of it. So, something pretty variegated, but, I have to figure out the best way in order to combine everything together. And thankfully there are a lot of, threads in the Nest group for how to, or lots and lots of inspiration and ideas on how to spin this stuff and to make it look really good. So then the question becomes, since I am so far behind in the spin and the Vorfruit is definitely in my spin the bin, when I'll get around to it, and hopefully it's looking like a pretty good tour de fleece to actually go through all my nests. So I signed up for the nest team, and I think, I have 2 more braids. I'm not entirely sure, but it'd be the case where I'm pretty sure my Shoshone is in there as well. So I think it is my Shoshone and Vorfruit were the last 2 from my club, and then I ended up picking up these because they were a good price and colorways that I liked. So we shall see. But I don't know what it would be. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun to spin the Torfino because I don't know what it is about the blues and greens fiber, but I was like going through my handspun stash and I have tons of skeins that are sort of that bluey green sort of aesthetic. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I should be able to record next weekend, which is Memorial Day weekend, so that should be good. There aren't any plans to do anything crazy and out of town. And then we'll be beginning to head into the time of awkwardness, which I'll be gone for a couple of weekends in a row. It might be easier to record on Saturday for that, I'm guessing, and just sort of let it go until later. So, and that's the story there. So, no progress on the Hitafude, no progress on the silk, but such is life. I am looking forward to Stash Dash, and hopefully I can bust a move on my merino silk, because I think that's gonna end up being a very, very ridiculous yardage once I get it going. Though I would really like to get the silk off, because then I can start my April spin the bin fiber, whatever that ends up being. I haven't picked anything yet, or if it's just the case where I need to quickly bust through some things, I'm not sure. I definitely have some pretties that are in there. I'm thinking the next one I'm gonna break into is my Pigeon Roof studio. So I got something that was like superwash merino and silk, and that's really nice. So I think that's gonna be my April. We'll go from there. Okie doke. So unfortunately a short one, but yeah, knitting on the shawl that never ends. So. And now I have an episode title. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.